more about it than that.
I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Board of Education, August 14th, 2019, to order. Please rise for the pledge to flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are committed to academic achievement and success for all students in a safe environment, says our mission statement. In partnership with families and our community, our mission is to promote confidence, inspire a passion for learning, and prepare our students to become responsible global citizens. Do I have a motion to approve the revised agenda? Motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Questions and comments from interested citizens. Laura Beezer? Hello. Do I do it?
Hey,
Oh,
good morning.
two.
My name is Laura Beezer, and I'm the treasurer of the Monroe-Woodbury Swim Club, as well as a taxpayer in the school district. But most importantly, I'm a parent who has concerns. I've come to respectfully ask you to consider allowing our team to continue using the middle school pool at little to no additional charge. Our club has been well respected in the community for over 40 years. We'd like to thank the school district for providing us the pool as our practice facility for all of these years. We are strictly a non-for-profit organization that uses 100% of its revenues to benefit our swimmers. Our club provides quality instruction to children of ages 7 to 18 years and produces competent swimmers, some of whom are competing at Junior Olympics and national competitions. But most importantly, our swimmers are also being prepared to join and compete for the varsity swim teams. Our sport is somewhat unique in the fact that there are no modified or junior varsity swim teams in the school district. We believe that our club takes the place of those teams and is providing the skills and the technique necessary for swimmers to be ready to compete at the varsity level. If you look up at the records board in the pool area, you'll see that several, if not most of the names that are displayed there are swimmers that have swam for our team at some point in their career. This past year's varsity state swimmers included members of our club as well. Our swim club teaches our swimmers many valuable life lessons. They learn respect for themselves and others, time management skills, good nutrition, how to compete, and how to remain humble in their success, how to treat others, how to be a family, which is our team motto, how to be good mentors to our younger swimmers, and most importantly, how to give back to others less fortunate than themselves. Our swimmers raise money every year to give back to our community. Each year, we donate a nominal amount to a worthwhile charity. Our team currently has tuition rates at levels just manageable for our parents to afford. If our costs increase due to pool usage fees, we will lose some loyal members and could potentially cease to exist. It is our belief that the pool must be maintained for its school programs and the locker rooms must be cleaned anyway due to daily district use. Our swimmers clean up the pool deck after every practice and leave it neat and clean. We respectfully believe that our swim club provides a benefit to the school district by bridging the gap between their enrichment and varsity swim programs. I'd like to read you a passage from your use of district facilities rules. The board encourages the use of its facilities by groups and organizations when their purposes and objectives contribute to the benefit of the school district or the school community. We believe our club accomplishes both of these objectives. We thank you for considering our request.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments and for everybody to come out on an early Wednesday morning. Thank you. Thank you. Fighting. Many of you probably fought Route 32. Or wonderful exit 131. So thank you. Ethan Zerwinski. Hello again.
I'm back.
You're back.
Done on vacation? No? Beach day?
Hello there. I'm sure you all on the board know me as I've spoken here many times before. For anyone out there who doesn't know, I'm Ethan Cherwinski from the class of 2019 that just graduated this past June. I know it's probably a shock to see a Monroe-Woodbury alum speaking at a board meeting as neither a district employee or a parent of a current student, but this is part of what I'm actually here to address, and I will get to that shortly. To cut to the chase, my reason for being here is that I was caught off guard by the deletion of Monroe-Woodbury student email accounts of graduating seniors at the beginning of August. Yes, I am aware that reminders were sent out, but as far as I know, these were only via the school email, which many students, including myself, neglect to check often enough. Anyways, when my student Gmail was disabled and I went to use a separate website which I had previously signed into using my student account, I was surprised to see a message saying that my account was disabled by the domain administrator. This was difficult to process as, like too many students, I had completely ignored the warnings about accounts being deactivated. Fortunately, our district was very helpful. Can't thank you, Mr. Vias, enough for that. And everything was sorted out. But this whole situation got me thinking about why the school disables the accounts to begin with. After all, the vast majority of college and university email accounts are valid for your entire lifetime. Would it be so difficult for the district to update the account permissions and allow students to keep their accounts indefinitely? For starters, I don't see why students are limited to sending emails within the Monroe-Woodbury domain to begin with, which would eliminate the step of having to update the permissions. Allowing students to keep their school email accounts would be especially helpful for students not attending colleges or universities or other form of schooling that provides a new domain, whether for financial reasons or for career pursuits that don't line up with a continuing education. An official domain email can grant legitimacy to alums who are otherwise without that advantage, one not easily achieved in the world we live in. In addition, allowing students to keep their email beyond graduation would be a great way to build an active alumni community. My mom, who you on the board know all too well, attended Brooklyn Tech in the 1980s and still keeps in touch with a large number of her former classmates, and reunions for her high school are often packed. I personally have not seen the same sort of attitude among my other alumni about Monroe-Woodbury, and I personally can't say I'm an exception to that feeling. As I am leaving for college in a little over a week and will be unable to be at the next board meeting to hear what I'm sure will be a great response from you guys on our board, I was hoping you guys could give me a response, even an abbreviated one today, on this question, as I had mentioned it previously to a cabinet member Vias that I'd be here commenting on this topic. One last thing I'd like to mention is that a board meeting at 9 a.m. on a work day does not exactly encourage the public to come out. Many members of our community have jobs that they would have to miss to be here or show up late to, and I don't think that's fair if you genuinely want the public to show up here.
So can I respond to the first thing about the board meeting? So this is an additional board meeting. We always schedule our board meetings in the evening, and we had to have a board meeting that was not scheduled, and that's why it's 9 o'clock. So it is not typical for the district to have a board meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning. So you won't, it's very rare that you'll see that.
Okay.
And then you're going to get some answers. Mr. Beeler and...
So one of the biggest differences that you cited was colleges versus high schools. So we have regulations, FERPA is one of them.
Okay.
So we deal with minors under 18. So one of the challenges is that if you go in and we continue to give an adult access to an email address, it creates a little bit of a security issue. Right, so, and that's probably going to be the biggest answer you get, but there's actually regulations on that for K through 12, what we have to secure as far as email and access to everything else, so, I don't know.
So that couple of things, Mr. Beeler addressed that. K-12 is a different world than the higher ed. There are specific law like FERPA and SIPA, Child Internet Protection Act, and as a school district, we're responsible to manage the safety and security of the minors. So it would be nice to give, absolutely, but there are certain regulations that prevents us to do that. The other part is, I'm sure you're aware about the recent data breaches.
Yeah.
So the more it's open for everybody else, the more responsibility for the school districts to make sure that they're secure. So it's not just in a matter of providing it, we need to make sure it's also secure as well.
All right.
The last impact is a financial impact. The even though Google is free, all the add-on services that as a district we pay is the amount of total students.
Okay.
So think from we have about 6,800 students. If we keep adding about 550 students or 600 students every year, in 10 years, extra 6,000. So the certain companies charge based on the active accounts. So it would be very, very financially burdensome to our taxpayers.
Okay.
So there are certain reasons that why we actually have to inform that. And also, I think our high school did a great job with our communication department to informing all the seniors in advance that, hey, this is coming, take the account with you, and eventually that if you need to work with us, we'll be happy to help you, which we were able to help you. So, thank you.
There's one more piece to his question, and I'd like Carol to talk a little bit about, you talked about alumni. So we've talked a lot about alumni because we want to maintain some communication with them. Can you speak a little bit about what we're doing with our alumni?
So, Ethan, as you may know, there was a very large reunion this past summer where we had 50 years of alumni come in, and we had approximately 750 alumni came back for that celebration. In addition to that, we had an event at the high school where we had about a dozen of the alums come in and spend time with those of you in the cafeteria, sharing their stories and their experiences. And we continue the contact along the social media front. Now I have contacts with various groups from various decades. So we are working, and it'll be a priority this school year as well to strengthen those ties.
All right.
Yeah, can I just add, my younger daughter graduated from Monroe-Woodbury and now works for a little company called Google. She has, for maybe 3 years, forget it, Facebook. So she actually didn't know about the 10-year reunion. So if there are other ways, since we can't have emails, it would be a good way to get there, but we can't. Perhaps there are other venues we can discover that could reach technically challenged people like my daughter.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. If you wish.
I'd like to also, this is not typical, we don't normally, as Ethan knows, we wait to the next meeting to respond, but I think that your organization got up and talked about the swimmers, and I feel that it's important for us to address this now because you're all sitting here. So, and, you know, Chris, if you want to talk a little bit about policy and then talk about fees separately, because they're really not, they're not together. So you want to talk a little
Well,
bit
the
about?
policy that we've kind of revamped, looked at, fine-tuned, is really just a classification of categories that every community club uses our facility, whether using the gym, the pool, the football field, the baseball field, or just the cafeteria at the whole Boy Scout meeting.
And that's a work in progress.
Right, so we have a draft here on what we have as categories and how they're going to fit in. So you know, the school hours, the school day is till 6:30, Monday to Friday. We've extended this so far to 8:30 to give anybody from 6:30 to 8:30 a little bit more of a free pass, which you don't really have to. Most school districts in this area, when the school day ends, and then you go into the next portion of the day, which would be a off-hour schedule, which we're working on the fee schedule for those off hours, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, or after 8:30 in the evening.
Can I just add to that? So you probably saw the group, and that, as I said, is a work in progress. Later on, it's going to read draft, right? What we wanted to do was be proactive. So there's a policy that's been enacted, and we want to let people know that at some point, there's going to be some additional fees, and we're giving everybody, this is almost a year in advance. None of this will go into effect until 2020. July 1, 2020. But we also wanted to be transparent and allow people to come and talk to us and, you know, share your thoughts and your concerns. And so, but one of the things that the district is responsible for doing is we cannot incur charges, the district, on the district side, in order to have people come in and use our facilities. So, for example, safety is one of those things that when people are using our facilities, it's really important for us to have safety officers for multiple reasons. I have a middle school building that's open, people are coming in and out. I have to make sure that we are aware of who's coming into our buildings, and once that group has finished using the building, then obviously there's a routine for them to go throughout the building to make sure that that the building is safe and closed for the next day when our students arrive. So those are the things that we're going to be looking at, and I think that Mr. DiLorenzo mentioned that other districts do charge as well. We're not looking here to make money, and when you read the statement, we want our community members to use our facilities, but we also want to be responsible to our taxpayers, because when the district incurs charges, that goes back to the taxpayers, and many of you sitting here are taxpayers yourselves. So that's really what we're doing, and again, we're doing it at a year in advance, and the chart that you see is a chart that's in draft. The fees are something that we're working through, but we want to let the community know as soon as possible to give everybody at least a year's notice. And that's what we're doing. So I appreciate you coming and sharing with us. And again, this is a work in progress.
Thank you.
Can I add something quickly too?
Yeah.
Just because I know we say a lot that, obviously I am not only a taxpayer, but I have 4 children, well, 1 that graduated, but athletes, people that use the building. When I say that several of us in this room and others that aren't here have sat for marathon meetings since the fall regarding this topic, it's not without work. So we have been really working to try to come up with an equal balance, because I know for myself personally, I'm impacted. I have 2 travel soccer players that this will impact. Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts. So we have sat for hours trying to come up with a fair way that Mrs. Rodriguez is saying. We, unlike other districts, have not been charging. They have been charging for years, and that's, surrounding areas. It is without saying, too, that we're not trying to make money, but we do have to cover the costs of the custodians, the security, things like that. So it's difficult. I just want to be a voice to say that I am personally going to be impacted by it as well, because I do have athletes that this will impact. But at the same time, it's my tax dollars, so there has to be some sort of a balance.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions or comments that were previously raised
No.
from citizens?
I just want to say that do note that this was going to take place September, then it was going to be January. We moved it to July 1 for next year, so that all the groups can look at this maybe potential fee schedule, maybe not finalized, but it's going to be around that realm. Okay, like Stacy said, we have discussed it. The district makes the fee schedule. We are just policy. We approve that there is going to be a fee schedule. So it's kind of close in fees, so that should give every community-based group enough time to say, okay, hey, if everybody pays $10 more in their registration, it should cover, you could start to track. And I will say that I think that all the groups, whether it's PTA basketball, the swim team, or softball, need to look and see what you're using the facilities now, and make a note of saying, well, okay, we used it then in an off-peak hour, so according to their thing, it might cost us X. So start to figure out your budgeting so that next year you come around and you say, okay, it's not as big as we thought. Everybody pays $10 more in their initiation fee. That'll cover the expenses. That's another reason why we pushed this back until July 1 of next year, to give the community time to reevaluate what is going on, what their usage was, what their potential fee might be, or close to be, and you can like adjust for it in your application fee or whatever your initiation fee is. So it's not like all of a sudden, hey, like you said, you're going to be bankrupt. Okay, that's not really the goal here. The goal here is for everyone to use everything, but we'll be bankrupt if we can't put chlorine in the pool for you, or if we have to close the pool because the kids are getting sick because we don't have the funds available to pay for stuff because we've kind of, shortchanged. The district has been very lenient over the years, not charging anybody for a lot of things. And the policy committee has been, we've done months of work looking into it, but I've been here, this is my second term of office, and we've started, I think, the first policy committee that we had, we started looking into this and trying to figure out, how do we get not to where all the other districts are, because they charge exorbitant amounts of money. We just want to get into the spot where everything is even for everybody else, and everybody can use the facility. It's clean, it's healthy, and there's no issues. So that's why it's July 1st. So just so you know, I'm glad you came today, because now you have enough time, not like that we're doing this meeting next year, and we only have a month. So, everyone needs to just do due diligence and prepare for it. And as the fee schedule, the business office will kind of fine tune and do that. And, if there's any more comments, you have to come to the meetings that we have that will, I think, August 19th.
Yes.
August 19th,
5
right?
o'clock.
At 5 o'clock, we're having our first fall business usage meeting. So even if you don't, some person from your organization should be there to listen to what the new rules are, where you might fall under in the policy, and then we'll have a better sheet maybe on pricing that you can kind of use as a reference guide going forward, okay? So, but if you don't go, I think it was in the photo news, it was on the Facebook page, we can't really, I'm a little bit of a stickler for those that say like, well, we didn't know, because I know that everybody should know. So, it's August 19th at 5 o'clock. The whole entire community out there, not just you guys, basketball, softball, baseball, everybody needs to come that's going to use the building in the fall, so they know what's going forward ahead. So we can all kind of work together and help each other out, and everybody has like a happy medium here.
Yeah,
All right?
and there's some changes in the policy for this year. Not talking about fees, but things such as, if Lori, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but, calling, an hour before, 2 hours before, and saying, hey, I need to use your gym. I don't think that you're involved, but I'm just saying, this is for the community, is that sometimes when they say, oh, by the way, it's raining today, I need you to get me indoor space, we just can't manage that way, because we're not in the business of what's the word I want to use? We're not in the business of renting out our space. We're in the business of educating students. So I don't have the manpower, nor do I believe that that's the responsibility of the district, to have that manpower to be able to say, okay, so it's going to rain today, I'm going to move you inside and put you here. Those are the things, those little things we need to change, because, as I said, we just don't have the manpower, and I'd rather I think the district believes that we'd rather put our money into educating students and not running a facilities place. And I think Lori wanted to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing. I know the board has addressed usage and fees and things like that, but when I received some emails from families in your organization, and I hear you stand up here, some of the things I'm hearing is you're trying to kind of justify the value of the program, and I just want to let you know you do not need to do that. We understand what you're doing for the kids. We appreciate what you're doing for the kids, and we're trying to find a balance between the two. So don't ever feel like you have to justify the value of the program, because we obviously see what the students are getting.
The school district is so important to the entire community, and vice versa. So it's a back and forth, as everyone has been saying, to try and accommodate and encourage you, but at the same time, be fiduciarily responsible to the taxpayers who pay for public education. So we'll find the best way, and we appreciate, again, you coming out. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of July 15, 2019 annual organizational meeting and the July 19th, 2019 special meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Do I have a motion to approve the second reading of the policy manual updates, public use of facilities, and the draft of the facilities use schedule of charges, which will be posted? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Can I say something?
Yes, you may say something.
I'd like to add the word draft to the facilities use schedule. I'd like the board to add the word draft to that, because it is it's a draft. It's
I
a
think
working.
it says draft.
It says draft
It says
policy.
draft.
Yeah.
Right, but
We're
on the
voting on a
actual, but
draft.
on the actual document, it
Oh.
should read. It should have the word draft.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. Did we have a yes?
Stacy and
Motion.
Dan, somebody.
Dan. Second.
Moved. Thank you for keeping me
Someone
awake.
has to pay attention.
Yeah. Who are you? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Do I have a motion to approve the textbook Inspire Chemistry?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion, questions? All those,
Let's look at the book.
let's look at the book.
Yeah, let's
Let's read the whole book
let's look at the book.
out loud.
Inspire chemistry.
Oh, it looks riveting.
What's inspiring?
That's the cover.
The cover is
Inspires the book.
Right? I mean, they do make it very inspiring.
Pretty colors.
My God.
Does it have a,
Online component.
okay, see, I'm gonna ask the same question. I'm glad to hear
All
that.
right. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Do I have a motion to approve the Board of Education Committee charters, visitation, audit, policy, facilities, and the legislative liaison authorization?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Reports by Board of Education committees. Chris, do you have anything to add?
No, I think policy has been doing a lot of work, so I don't know, we don't have another policy meeting for another couple of weeks, I think, and then we'll start
Okay.
the next round. I'm sure that this policy that we're all discussing will always be at the forefront of every meeting, but
Right.
I don't think we have anything going forward yet.
There might be some changes coming down from the State Education Department, so that always impacts
Well, we
policy as
have
well.
to review
Yeah.
that, right? We
Yeah.
always get an
We get
update
that
on
from
what was changed.
NISBA and our attorneys.
Dawn, Visitation Committee.
Yeah, we did have our first visitation meeting at the high school we started, and we'll follow up with that in a few weeks or so, and then from there, we'll move on to the rest of the schools, and I'll update the facilities committee and the board as needed.
Thank you. Facilities, Don.
So both audit and facilities audit, we, I mentioned, I think last time, but we continue to make very good progress. It's very, very impressive from a taxpayer standpoint, the controls and the focus on a continued improvement. Even though they're very good, it's very impressive to see Patrick's team and himself focusing on constantly trying to improve it. And we've had discussions over the last week that really go to that. On the facilities, there's lots going on. There's a bunch of dirt and some tracks. I'll let Patrick really cover the specifics. We have a facility meeting after this.
Yeah, so we have a meeting at 10 a.m., and we're going to review sort of the general status of the project. Lan, our architects, will be here for that update. There's also a series of change orders, which we're going to review, potential change orders, most of which are fairly small, and I would say cosmetic in nature. There's also a couple more significant change orders having to do with installation of conduit to the upper field to enable us to have internet access and/or computer access up there for the future, really. It's something we would be helpful and useful now, definitely into the future. And we're also going to review a change order having to do with the bathrooms and a permanent connection to the sanitary facility. So that's obviously important. In terms of the budget, we are still under budget, but we are eroding the contingency that was part of the original budget, and there are a few things, particularly the jump area was something that we wanted to redo. We may have to defer that. So that's something we're going to discuss later this morning at 10.
Things on schedule?
Yes.
I think we have a picture.
I saw a picture of them rolling out the turf. the
It
other
was
day.
beautiful.
Oh, really?
Somewhere around the 40-yard line, the green turf was being rolled out. So-
Is there any way that we can put it up so the public can see? We have a cell phone,
We have drone footage.
I just emailed it to Carol.
Cool.
just so that we can,
I was
on the
gonna post
website?
it today.
yeah.
It'll go up on the district website.
We're gonna post it today.
Okay, they're going to post it on the district website, so
Yeah.
go take a look at it. It's actually,
Rather than passing your cell phone around to everybody. Perhaps,
asking them to do that. I was asking her to hook it up to the screen so we could all see it.
And
Now,
more from this morning.
more from this morning, because it is impressive.
The other thing I would mention, too, is the access road. Yeah, that's part of the DOT project. That they're making a lot of progress on that. I looked at that last night, and, you can actually see the road. It's been paved, not finally, but that's good. So there's a lot happening in that area. We installed a new playground at CV over the summer. So that's good news to help CV out a little bit and repave the back of the building, the playground alley, I think it's called, something to that
I have a
effect. So-
question about the access road to the high school. Is that going to be ready for September 1 or whenever we open school, September? like-
Peter, can you address that
Yes,
question?
it should be. We're almost done now. There's just something on the low line up by the high school, poles and they put in, electric heats are there, not there, but they're in line to be put in. Blacktop is getting 3/4 done for the final coat, and it's not, it was high enough by the student parking lot, and all these set.
All right, so we've facilitated to use that road right away? I mean, is anybody?
Buses, it's only for our.
It's only for buses.
No, it's only for buses. I understand. I just want to make
Yes.
sure that like.
The community shouldn't get
Dawn
excited that
and-
they're going to be
and
able
the
to
bus
use it.
garage
No.
and the community knows that, hey, I don't have a new road here, and all of a sudden everyone starts coming
No.
down the road.
First, not to interrupt you, but there are gates on both ends.
That would be
so if
great,
you don't have
sir.
a problem where they open them up, they won't open, so they no one can use them, that's all bus drivers don't need it.
But it will be beneficial for the community because now the buses will be using that access road instead
Right, no,
of using
Oh, it'll speed up the
Dunderberg.
schedule.
Yeah.
I just
And it's
think
another
that
emergency
when it
Right.
is ready to
Correct.
go, I think that on our Facebook page or however we communicate with the students, we should maybe put that the access road is open for buses only, so we don't get parents attempting to pull in there, and then it doesn't open, and then that causes a backup the first week of school.
Was there signage that could be placed on the gates?
Yeah, well,
I just want the community, because the community might hear about the access road
Yep.
and think it's a way for them. I
Precisely.
think that we need to be proactive and
And-
let
and-
them know
and
that it's not for them.
I agree with you. Maybe we'll take a look at signage or just have safety there, you know, to manage, to make
At
sure
least
that we.
initially is the
Initially, to
first.
make sure that people aren't going in. And the other piece was, and you mentioned it, was for safety. There's an emergency from one building to the other. We're able to get our students out, you know, from the high school through that road, or get our Central Valley kids up through that road. And I think that's going to be really good for the
Or an
district.
emergency vehicle.
Correct.
One of the big concerns too, when the project got started, was from our students who were concerned about the trees. And I think one of the nicest things is the whole front of Central Valley now is all full of newly planted trees. And
It's pretty.
Can I make a recommendation? Can we put plants at the bottom of the trees, or put some, to make them look prettier?
What are you, a landscape architect?
So,
You gonna do
Anybody here
gardening
from,
on the
any
weekends?
students here from Central Valley? Wouldn't it look prettier if you had some, and they just
who's
look.
watering them?
Sounds like a
Elsie
good
will
community
water.
service thing that I would think.
What?
I said it sounds like something good for community service.
I think so.
That
We're
was
Between
gonna-
all the
sprinkler
garden
system they're gonna
clubs
do.
and the high school seniors
Yeah,
this
I
year
just
that
think
need
that we
community
should,
service
yeah.
hours.
We should be putting plants at the bottom, so it looks, I'm going to use a word, pretty.
You're allowed, but if we don't have nice water.
Deer resistant,
long
deer
as
We
resistant
don't have
plants, by the way.
sprinklers or
As long
water
as the
there, I
sprinkler
don't know
system
how long
isn't
they're gonna
pretty
stay
expensive,
pretty.
then it's
Ethan,
good.
you see what happens at 9 a.m.? I mean, some good stuff.
He's half asleep. He's still.
He's back on his phone.
He's back on his
All right. Do we have a report, Maeve? Do you have any?
No specifics today, but
Okay.
I just hope everybody's enjoying their summer.
Thank you.
It's almost over.
Personnel, Matt?
I just respectfully request the items listed under personnel for approval, please.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or any things that you want to add, Matt?
Just thank you. This is a really busy time in HR, and you'll see just from this agenda, and there'll be more on the next agenda, which is the 28th. They're just moving parts between retirements and resignations. Things are constantly moving up there, so thank you.
All right. Business, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Did we have a motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good.
I know it's 9, wake up.
John.
I need all the help I can get. So all those in favor, aye. Everybody's aye. So carried. Business and financial, Patrick.
Yeah, so John, I would just also respectfully request the approval of the items under the business financial section. So we have the approval of the tax warrant, tax rolls, just in terms of the rate increase. The range is from 1% up to 6%. And if you recall, our increase in the levy was about 2.6%, but then there's something that is called apportionment and equalization, which occurs, and that's apportioning our levy for the entire district to the 5 towns that comprise our school district, and the state uses an equalization rate to do that. There's changes in the individual tax base, so the 2.6% is churned up and comes out a little different in terms of a tax rate. We have some bids to approve, 3 bids, I believe, some obsolete items from the MCC, approval of our internal audit for 18-19 year, and a modification to the engagement letter for 2017-18. It's really just a formality. And finally, approval of about 11 contracts, mostly related to special education services.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
I'm making a second, John.
Needs a bigger coffin.
Thank you, Anthony. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Do we have a motion to approve the arrangement of the recommended placements made by the Committee on Special Education, Preschool Education, agenda items 14.01, 02, 03, 04?
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Reports by Board and Central Office. Bargoff.
All right. So next Monday, August 19, we are hosting a Future Ready workshop. We as a district are a part of an organization called Future Ready Schools. They actually have a specific framework that we are planning to follow starting from this year. So this is their first event in New York State, and we actually have partnered with them as a host, and it will be at the Pine Tree. And the key facilitator is our former graduate, Tom Murray, who is a really big ed tech leader. We have few administrators that are planning to attend, and about 26 school districts are sending their representative, about 120 people total. So
Thank
we're
you.
excited about it.
Thank you, Barb. Eric.
So thank you for your approval of the textbook this morning. Congratulations to everybody who was appointed. Our summer programs are winding down and the buildings are getting geared up for the start of the school year. Summer school graduation is Friday, so hopefully everybody got your invite and you're able to come out. It's a great event. Just a quick thank you to all the staff who provided amazing experiences for our kids in the various programs that we offer over the summer. And enjoy your remaining weeks.
Thank you, Patrick.
No report, John.
Matt.
Just one of the things I just want to point out is a thank you for the contract, the EAP contract that was approved this morning. EAP is a program that we utilize throughout the district throughout the year, particularly with employees who hit some rough times. So for us, we've found that to be an incredibly valuable service. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Thank you. Stacy.
I want to say thank you to the district for all the great work over the summer. I know it's been busy, but it seems to be moving along nicely. And I want to wish the graduates this Friday congratulations and good luck. I unfortunately am not able to attend, but I do wish them the best and enjoy the last few weeks of summer.
Anthony.
I just want to wish everyone a happy few weeks of the remaining summer, and see you in a few weeks.
Dan.
Am I allowed to say I can't believe summer's almost over now?
Now you
Am I allowed now?
Now you're closer.
You could say
June
most of
30th
summer.
was a little rough. But
Most of
It
summer.
felt like it. Well, listen, I just want to thank everybody for their hard work over the summer. You know, most people think that, you know, summertime, school's closed, everybody's gone, but there are a lot of people behind the scenes making things happen. And I'm not looking forward to the start of school because that means I have to go back to work. So, but enjoy your last few days of
Not days, it's weeks.
Yes.
hours, freedom.
Oh. Chris.
I want to congratulate the graduates for Friday on their accomplishments over the summer. I want to thank all the staff and administrators that are working all summer long to keep the building afloat and keep the school district running. I want to thank the building and grounds. I know they're doing a lot of work with all the projects going on. The field looks like the turf's being rolled out, so everything is going to be good there for our first September season. Just good luck for the rest of the couple of weeks that you have left, Dan, for the summer. Enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you in the beginning of the year.
Dawn.
So I was fortunate to be invited to North Main to see the SPELL program last week, and I just want to say it was an amazing program, the summer program for our English language learners. The children were engaged, the staff was just as equally engaged and committed, and it was awesome to see. I also attended a National School Climate Conference with some of the students and administrators last Friday, and I think I'll let Dr. Hasser talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
Oh, no.
the Monroe-Woodbury participated in a program a few years back to highlight some of the various initiatives that we've been embarking on in the last few years. And the National School Climate Center, who we worked with, reached out and asked if we would be willing to participate in their School Climate Institute that they put on every summer. So we had an opportunity to be able to present, Mrs. Talbert, Mrs. Rodriguez, Mr. Casti, and a group of students to talk about some of the various initiatives that have been happening around our school district. And we were also able to sit in on some other sessions to learn about things that other school districts are also doing related to school climate and student voice. And I think, most importantly, I think the kids reported that they had a fantastic day.
Ever.
They learned a lot. It was an opportunity that. What?
He said you fed them. I said at the seaport.
Yes, they ate, but they reported that they had a great day even before they ate. So it was a fantastic day. Yep.
Yeah, and I also want to just echo what Lori said. And I appreciate the swim club coming and speaking to us, but just like the swim club and all the other programs, like we completely understand the value and what it does for our students and how it gives back to our community. So thank you for that. But again, never feel like you have to sell your program to us. We completely see that. Thank you.
I don't know. It's nice to hear what they think about their program. I appreciate. You don't have to, but I appreciate you're selling your program to us. Don?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the swim team and all the swimmers for showing up so early. It always helps to hear from the actual athletes and see them. The facilities is going really well. I think, everybody's been working really, really hard this summer. John and I attended a legislative thing. I'll let him go through that.
No, you go through that.
No, you can go.
No, you go.
Unlike, we have a different relationship than Elsie and Eric. So, in addition to that, I've been invited to sit on a standards committee that's run by the Secret Service for school safety. I'll be updating more on that in the near future.
Right. Maeve?
I, for one, am excited for the upcoming school year. I don't know.
There you go. Yay!
It went by really fast, but I'm excited. So,
Good.
yeah.
By the way, Donna, who's speaking, next, it's her birthday today. So happy birthday. Donna, you can talk now on what it's like to reach your 30s.
Oh, I wish. Thank you all for all my birthday wishes, and thank you all for coming out today, and enjoy the rest of your summer.
Thank you. Thank you. Elsie?
So speaking of school, starts September 4th. Make sure you're there bright and early and excited. Dr. Hassler mentioned that event that we went to, and one of the phrases is student voice. And I think that you're going to hear that as a community member. You're going to hear that word used a lot by this cabinet, this administration, because we really believe that student voice is the most important voice. And so we encourage that. That's why we have this young lady sitting here. So those of you that are sitting there and want to be this, you have to apply when you're a junior. But we're going to do, as a district, as much as we can to hear from our students, because they're the ones that we're in service to. We're in service to our students. And so I'm excited about this work that we're doing, and I think it's really going to change the culture of the district as we continue to hear from our students what works, what doesn't work, and put them at the forefront of helping us make good decisions for our community. And
I went to the SPELL program also at North Main, just to see students and teachers engaged and working hard and enthusiastically is great. So congratulations on that program. And I just want to echo the fact that so much happens in the summer here in the district. We do a lot of work in-house because we have a talented and dedicated group of buildings and grounds people who accomplish things that otherwise we would have to go out and spend taxpayer money on. So I appreciate all of that and all of the work that everybody does during the summer. Indeed, the students might not be here. Many students are here, but not all of them. But we do accomplish a lot. And Don and I did go to Sean Patrick Maloney's office, our U.S. Congressman, and met with
Maria Ingracia.
Maria Ingracia, and several other people from his office in a 1-hour session with a number of people with 2 people from New York State School Boards Association and a couple of other folks from other districts, Board of Ed, other districts, just to put on the table, just to lobby. We as part of the board, lobby for public education, not only for funds, but for programs, and that's what we were doing at Congressman Maloney's office. A good suggestion that the president of the Garrison Board put forward, since an awful lot of the costs and expenses and the unfunded mandates come from the state and are not necessarily in the bailiwick of the U.S. Congress. Nonetheless, if things like public schools could be folded into infrastructure, national infrastructure projects for conduit from one building to the next, for putting, ways of if you're going to redo a road, to be able to put fiber optic and all of that alongside the road, that would free up money elsewhere in our budget to use for other things. So it's all very important. We had a productive meeting. So we continue to lobby for public education on a number of fronts. I'd like to thank everybody for coming, and promise we won't do another 9 o'clock. Ethan. Sorry, doesn't matter. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.